Hi, my name's Matt. I've been working at ROC Climbing for a little over 4 years now. And today I'll be interviewing the one and only, the radiant Tom Stewart.
Stewart.
I'll be interviewing Tom Stewart, the owner of ROC Climbing. I'm going to point this mic at you so you can say hello.
Good morning, Matthew. That was a very flattering opening. Radiant, I like that. I do feel radiant this morning.
Brilliant. Tom, I'm going to hit you with some questions. These are going to be quick fire questions.
Okay.
I think I'm just going to point this mic at you
Yep.
and not turn it back to me.
My name, Tom Stewart. Thomas Frederick Stewart. I was born Chorleywood at home, delivered by my gran. Yes. And my brothers washed me in the bucket. You wanted some stories, so we could add that one in. My brother got sent home from school for giving a very graphic detail of childbirth that morning when he was late at school. Ooh, 90s indie, like Stone Roses, Happy Mondays. Ooh, God, that's a tricky one. Great Escape with Steve McQueen. Love Steve McQueen. I'm not much of a boulderer, so probably V5. I'm a bit of an amateur, total punter, trad. Did I say V5 for that? E5 for trad, but I'm more an alpinist. I broke and dislocated and pulled apart my left ankle, which led to 3 operations. My favourite child of my children, all of them. I can't separate them. That was you nearly caught me out with that. All of you. I have the very, very best staff in the world, actually. Fantastic staff.
Okay, Tom.
Yes.
First question I have for you. ROC Climbing. It's been open for a while. How long? How long has ROC been climbing? Let me try that again. How long has ROC Climbing been running, and what inspired you to open it in the first place?
Well, so ROC Climbing was conceived in 2009, which would be 13 years ago. We opened the doors in 2010, June the 4th. I'd always been interested in business, and as a student, I'd actually written various business plans for building a climbing wall there's a church just on the Mancunian Way, which is now a solicitor's firm in Flats. And eventually, the curiosity took over, and in 2010, I decided it was time to put my money where my mouth was and open a climbing centre. And I think also behind that, the Climbing Works and in Sheffield and Boulder UK, Blackburn, the original Boulder UK, they were also sort of inspirations to opening ROC Climbing. That's the answer. Not much more to add to that.
Cool, brilliant, awesome. So quite a while then.
Yes.
Was ROC Climbing? I think I've heard this one time, and I don't know if I'm right or wrong. Was ROC Climbing the first bouldering centre to open in the Northwest, or is that?
No, but the answer to it was ROC Climbing the first in Northwest? No, Boulder UK Blackburn was the first with Ian Vickers, Gaz Parry, and a few others there. So I would actually go up there, climb there, and took inspiration from there. But it was the first in Greater Manchester.
Next question, Tom.
Yes.
It's a really big year for ROC Climbing. There's 2 new centres opening, not just one. ROC, of course, having only had 1 centre all this time, we're now opening 2 new ones. Tell us about them. Why are we branching out? Was 1 not enough?
No, one lot of punishment was not enough, so I thought I'd just triple the punishment. No, not at all. To be honest, it was the logical step. We came out of COVID with actually in a very strong position, excellent team and staff, and we'd sort of refined our business. And then all of a sudden, we'd been looking for properties for 2 years. We found 1, and then the next week we found 2. So we thought, why not just 1? Let's do both and go from 1 to 3, and spread the word of ROC Climbing throughout the Northwest. So it is very, very exciting. And we've taken all the lessons learned from the last 12, 13 years here and packaged them into Bolton, which is next on the 29th in just over a week's time, and then Sharston, which will be ROC Climbing South, which should open in January, February time.
Next question. Tom, you've got something of a reputation around here of being a character. We've heard a lot of crazy stories about your life. A lot of stuff that's been coming out. I've got a few down here I want to give you a quick quiz about. You failed your GCSE 5 times?
Yes, I did fail GCSE maths 5 times. I hope my children are not watching this. You must do your homework, kids. Yes, I did fail it 5 times. I had a bit of a mental block with maths. When I basically just gave up doing classes and then went with an empty mind, I then passed.
Nice.
That's not how you do maths.
Climb is very classically not academic. I never went to uni myself. You went paragliding after only 10 minutes of training off of at 3,000 feet. Tell us more.
I thought you might ask that. Yes, I did. I used to live in Bethesda in North Wales, and my friend was an avid paraglider. Every day he'd leave a spare chute out and put a note where he was and suggest I come and fly with him. And for 2 years, I just declined. And then one day, my curiosity got the better of me, so I picked up the chute. It had a little note that he was at the Penrhyn Hotel, which is underneath Glyder Fach and Far by Snowdon. So I went, thinking it was just a day in the field with lessons, where in fact, actually, within 10 minutes, I'd failed to keep the chute above my head. So you got your 2 cords, you got to keep the dot above your head. It just kept collapsing. And then he said, oh, we're off. And I thought we were going to one of the humps. And actually, 2 hours later, off the summit, he said, when I say go, just run. And don't scream. And to cut a long story short, I ran. And I just went straight up in a thermal above Snowdon. Had a flight for about 30 minutes, doing a lot of screaming, a lot of panicking, and then landed back at the Penrhyn Hotel. Yes, that was pretty bonkers. I couldn't quite get the gist of the fact that you stay flying, and I kept thinking I was going to fall out of the sky, so I was trying to hold on really tight. Not really think, obviously not going to help you at 4,000 feet. No.
Yeah.
Yes, pretty mad. Don't do that either. Not a good one to do at home. Always have the lessons and go tandem.
I think it is remarkable that you are still alive.
My brothers always used to sort of suggest I wouldn't make it from one year to the next. So yes, a bit quieter now. I've got family, I've got children, got Sandy the dog, so people look after. So toned it down slightly.
I don't know if even old age could kill you, Tom. To be honest. Last one. You lost your front teeth in a rugby game by biting into one of your friend's head. And then your teeth were returned a week later. Can you tell us more? Because that sounds quite...
I can't remember ever telling these stories, but yeah, that's very true. I do have the front ones are false. The one time I turned up to rugby practice without a gum shield, I accidentally clashed with a friend. I didn't purposefully bite into his head. He came off a lot worse than me, but my teeth snapped off. And at hospital, yes, they took the teeth out and they gave them back to me in a jar a week later. Yes. Always wear your gum shield. Again, another good lesson. Don't even training, don't do it without your gum shield.
Awesome. Amazing. Right. Tom, it's no secret that you are my hero.
Oh, you're going to make me cry now. I can cry. That's probably the other thing. A bit of a blubberer.
Who is your hero, Tom? And this doesn't have to be a climbing hero. Who is Tom Stewart's hero?
I'm going to just check my phone because I did actually write it down and it said climbing heroes. That's what it got on here, hero and why. So I actually did write down climbing heroes. But these are in different eras because there isn't just one. So I had Joe Brown and Don Willans, climbing partnership throughout the 50s, adventure. All I've ever wanted in life is an adventure, and they epitomise? No, I'm not sure the right word, but they to me are just hard-working, adventure, push it out. They had no gear. Joe Brown developed the concept of putting rope round pebbles for protection. And then one of my favourite moments in life was in the Joe Brown shop, Capel Curig. He sold me my sleeping bag when I was about 11 years old. Absolutely loved it. Alex McIntyre, which will be somebody that nobody I don't think any of the people watching will ever know. Go look them up. Died, unfortunately, very, very young. But he basically two of the most famous routes in the Alps, in the Mont Blanc range, Colton McIntyre on the Grand Duras. And basically, sort of in the early 80s, he pushed the boundaries of alpinism. Alpine climbing, carrying what you've got, going fast, and was just way out there, ahead of his time. Mick Fowler, again, probably staff don't know him, total legend, and came for tea here, because when I climbed with my friend Dave a route in Kyrgyzstan, he came because he was at the Kendal Film Festival when we gave a talk on it, and he wanted to learn more about the mountains, and he maintained a full-time job, and then every year would go on a sort of 2 or 3 week expedition for first ascents around the world. Then in the sort of 80s and early 90s, I got another partnership, Ben Moon and Jerry Moffat. Just basically, again, inspirational. Just had a complete brain fart. But they're if you ever just want to just get some psych, they made one of the very first climbing videos, which starts with them in Sheffield. Completely forgotten what it's called. But just climbing hard and ahead of their time. And last but not least, a complete unsung hero of world climbing, James McAfee. Just go find James. Totally, I say under the radar, hardly. But currently out there just pushing trad climbing to its limits. But a lovely guy, great character. And if you want a motivation for an adventure, just go to James McAfee.
Amazing. Really good. I don't think I recognised any of those names. Awesome. Tom.
Yes, Matthew. I might get the answers up for the next question, because I actually wrote these down and my memory is not the best.
If you were trying to sell the Tom Stewart experience, how would you do it in 6 words or less?
So I thought about how to sell myself in 6 words or less, and I came up with just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you take away the commas, but grammatically, I'm rubbish at English. Totally broken, barking mad, gives 500%. There you go. That was me in 6 words.
That's 7.
No. Totally broken, barking mad, gives 500%. Well, when you write 500%.
Oh, as the okay.
I wrote it as
As the symbol.
Oh, come on, so pernickety. Dear me.
I can't hear the symbol, Tom. I can only hear the words.
I tried really hard on that.
Okay. Well, really good. Right, Bolton. So this is what everyone really wants to hear. About half of our customers who have been coming in over the past month have been asking us, any news on Bolton? When's the Bolton Centre opening? Is there one opening Bolton? But why? Why Bolton? Tell us more about that centre. Why opening in Bolton? And what are you most excited about with that new centre?
I think, first of all, it's actually the building. So we've taken a lot of lessons learned, and we've simplified the fact that Sandy, come away from the dog. Sorry, that's the dog. It's purely just about climbing. The building is great location just off the motorway, really easy accessible, got its own car park. And then the building itself, so we're actually going to develop Bolton in a few phases. Initially, it is all just the climbing, but we actually have a garden out the back, which is going to be great. And it's really nice. It's not just a car park or a courtyard, an actual private, secluded garden where we plan to put outdoor climbing. Also, like the upstairs, the logical layout, it's got a really nice area for a gym, etc. It's a very logical, simple layout, which allows you to keep things simple and just focus on high quality climbing. And I think what am I most excited about is the fact we're in Central. Once you've built a climbing centre, it's very hard to take it apart again and rebuild it. We did a lot over COVID, but we've always wanted to start absolutely afresh with a blank canvas. And that's what we've done there. And that's the really exciting part, to be honest, is It is very exciting. And it's exciting that it's not just Bolton on its own. There's Central as well, and the customers will have 2 places to go. And you used up the one climb, so it's just 20 minutes away. Really easy to get to. I live in Didsbury, and it's just 20 minutes away. And we've already got routes on the wall. Mats are going down right now. And actually, I think just the layout, the garden in the summer, you can just open the doors, you can go straight out the training boards, chill outside. It's nice.
Sounds serene. I'm quite excited for the outdoor bit, because that sounds quite mega, really. And then lastly, well, probably the last question. Tom, we've mentioned that there's going to be 2 new centres opening, so a total of 3 rock over climbings. Is there any news on the 3rd one? Is there anything you can give us, Tom, please?
No, absolutely. No, I can tell you about the 3rd one, because actually, very exciting too. As I said, we took a bit of a punt. Went and saw a second property, which interestingly was a property I looked at in 2010 when we were looking for Central. And I went back again 3 years ago, but it wasn't available. And I just happened to be driving past it, and I went, and it's up for let. So I knocked on the door, met the owners, and so Sharston is right next to the sort of M56, M60 interchange, dead easy to get to. Also, if you live like with the students in city centre, it's on the number 4303 bus, goes straight to it, just next to its door, really easy to get to. Also, whilst, I'll be honest, the new climbing centres are supposed to be smaller, accidentally this building is probably bigger. As always, we don't do things by halves, and it is actually a really exciting place because it's 2 buildings in one, and we're going to build the first phase, get that open, but the first phase is as big as Bolton. But it has like a continuous 40-metre long sweeping wall, which would be by far the biggest continuous wall we've got, and probably one of the biggest in the northwest. And then there's a second building with it, which is probably twice as big as Bolton again. Maybe we've bitten off a bit more than we can chew, but we never once for holding back, just like the Rockfest. Very, very exciting. And we actually start work on that in 2 weeks' time, I think. Well, we've already started work on it, been in, drawn it up, planned it, getting all the materials dropped off. And actually, do you know what? Best part, the actual articulated lorries can drive into it, and it's got its own forklift, and we can lift everything off, and we don't have to lift 250 sheets of plywood in.
Tom, I heard a rumour, and I don't know if this is true, and I won't tell you who I heard it from, but I heard a rumour that the Sharston Centre, when it's fully completed, might be the biggest in the UK. Can you tell us, is that substantial?
Not one for, I don't like boasting. Could be, I guess. Depends how well we use the space. And like all our rockovers, there's always space to move into. So maybe not when it's initially finished, but I guess as a premises goes, probably yes.
Okay, I reckon one last question, final one. Who is this? Because we've had this extra guest who's been running around.
Sandy.
Can you tell us a bit more about this person?
Come on. Oh, she's not going to play ball now. I thought she was going to come and sit next to me. Sandy, come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Don't be grumpy. She's a little bit. Oh, right. So Matthew asked, who's this? This is Sandy. She's a little sorry for herself today, as she sliced her paw. But over lockdown, after 5 years of saying no to dogs, I was eventually relented to the family's request for a dog. And I have to say, off she goes. Sandy she's amazing. She loves swimming. She'll open water swim you. She can do about 800 metres to a kilometre. Loves the snow. And he's also a pretty good climber, actually. At Wing Gather, she can do all the little scrambles and the descents, and yeah, Oichi wants to play.
Brilliant. Tom, thank you. Thank you for your time. Left-hand handshake.
Give us the mic. I'll just say that was a pleasure, Matthew. And at any time, as you probably can see, I do like being interviewed. So maybe a big ego, but thank you very much. And hopefully that would be interesting to all those people watching and listening. So thank you, Matthew. And very well done yourself. That was very good interviewing.
Oh, stop it. Brilliant.